In this video, we are going to learn about dimensional dynamics. There are three of them: size, location, and rotation dynamics, located in the dimension section of Dynamics ribbon and are often used to add animation to a display. The size dynamic allows you to change size of an object based on the real-time value of its connected data point. The object automatically sizes to scale for incoming data points. During runtime, the size connection resizes the object in proportion to the percentage of the high and low ranges of the connected data point. The location dynamic adds an action that enables user to move or translate an object. During runtime mode, the object moves within a specific distance based on the value of the connected data point. This allows you to represent value or condition when the value changes in step or continuously. The rotation dynamic is similar to the previous two, but with an angular movement that pivots. When you apply rotation dynamic to an object, you need to specify the angle through which the rotation occurs. In order to have a better understanding of how these dynamics work, we will use some examples. We will start with creating a rectangle object and add a size dynamic that expands the rectangle. To do so, click on the data entry icon in the text object section of the Dynamics ribbon. For the data entry object's data source property, create a local variable with low limit as 0 and high limit as 10. Next, on the Home ribbon, click on the Rectangle tool and then click and drag a rectangle onto the canvas. Select the rectangle and then click the Size dynamic in the Dimension section. We can see that the cursor changes into a resize cursor. Drag one of the reshape handles of the rectangle to the new larger size. Set the following property. Data source is going to be local variable, active when set to be always. Note that the animation mode property is set to analog by default, which means the animation associated with this dynamic is gradual instead of demonstrating an on and off behavior if set to discrete. Now switch to runtime. Initially, the rectangle is at state 0, which means it does not have any area yet. Try enter 5 into the data entry box. You will see that the rectangle is now 50% of the full size. Enter any value between 0 and 10, and the rectangle will be growing from 0% to 100% in 10 different steps. Any number above 10 is rounded to 10 and give you 100% of the size. Next, we will add a slider with location dynamic to allow users to change the size of the rectangle by simply dragging the slider button. We'll go to the symbol library, where there are sets of different kinds of slider ready to be used when you enter the keyword and search. And some of them are smart symbols, which means there are dynamics associated with them already. Drag one of the smart sliders onto the canvas. Click and select the button on the slider, and you should see a predefined location dynamic. Change the data source property to be the local variable. Notice that the slider property is already set to be true, which means that the object is going to be user interactive and writing value to the variable. You can edit the path of the dynamic by going to the path property and choose to edit the path on screen. A red line will show up indicating the path of the dynamic, and you can change it by simply select and drag. When you're ready, go to runtime. Drag the slider button up and down, and you will see the variable number changes accordingly in the data entry box, and the size of the rectangle will be changing as well. Go back to configuration mode, and we will create a ventilator using 3 of the ellipse shapes. Remember to group them together by selecting all the shapes and click on Group button in the Arrange section. Add rotation dynamic to the grouped object and set the data source property to be the local variable. Besides that, set start angle to be 360 and end angle to be 0 degrees. The clockwise property is set to true by default. Now go into runtime. Change the variable by either dragging the slider button or enter number into the data entry box. You will see that the ventilator rotates clockwise accordingly while rectangle size changes.